This is the time of our service where we come apart from the busyness of the world and connect with the Spirit of Mother, Father, Creator God, and realize that energy flows through us in every moment and in every circumstance. That we are present in this world as a spiritual being. And we come apart from the busyness of the world to refresh and renew. Let us initiate that supplication with God right now. Allow the rhythm of your breath to relax your body. Feel your weight melt away and be absorbed by your seat. With your feet on the ground, feel the nurturing nature of Mother Earth, your connectedness to all that is in creation. And then as you open your crown chakra, feel that light of love that isn't the presence of God moving in and through your body. It's in this space that we realize our inner spirit sets us free. As co-creators with Mother, Father, Creator, God, we are placed here to share our gifts, and particularly in this season, not so much the tangible gifts, but the spirit of love that pervades our existence. We are free to express our unlimited spirit in this very moment. It's in this space that we realize the past cannot bind us, and we are not limited by the future. As spiritual beings, we are free. So in this contemplative moment, let go of any thoughts and feelings that have burdened you or pushed you down. Realize that our hearts are uplifted to a new vista, which is a higher atmosphere of freedom, of expression. We embrace the truth that we have the power within us to determine our experience. And today, in this season, our highest expression is love. And with God as our source, we are meant to live freely. It's in this space that we realize no one else can give me happiness or peace of mind. It is important that we express our uniqueness, because at any given moment, we can be the presence of God to one another. And we also allow each other distinctive expressions. We realize in this space, as we free others, we generously share the love of God that fills our hearts, expands our minds, and frees our soul. Let us rest in that knowledge of our unique expression, binding us together in a beautiful tapestry of love, and realize the presence of God in this very moment.
All right. All right, let's just take a deep breath. And let that out. As we prepare for the rest of our service, we are in the third Sunday of Advent. And Advent is traditionally celebrated as we approach Christmas as a time leading to the birth of Jesus. In Unity teachings, we see this time as the birth of the Christ within us, and honoring the advent of the Christ consciousness within us. Along with the traditional themes of faith, peace, love, and joy, we're following our evolution to our Christ consciousness through the four elements of earth, air, water, and fire, along with the three gifts of the Magi: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. In week 1, we added to our altar down here a crystal to represent the earth, and a rock that represents our faith, and gold coins to represent the gift of gold for purity and prosperity. And last week, we added a wind chime representing the air, and frankincense to represent the transformation from its physical earthly form into the spiritual, and the olive branch and the white feather to represent peace and harmony. This is the third week in our journey into Christmas, a journey to renew us through the birth of our own inner Christ. Our focus today is love. Love is God in us and through us. Let us light our lives with love. Mary represents love. Mary worshipped God and pondered on his truth. When love is directed by God, it manifests in wisdom and brings greater awareness of the Christ. And we add this week the element of water. I have this little picture of water down here, and the water represents life, which is also the power that we're focused on this month of December. It can be associated with birth, fertility, and refreshment. Christians are baptized with water or in water, symbolizing a purification of the soul and an admission into the faith. Metaphysically, waters of Genesis 1, 6, and 7 represent unexpressed possibilities in the mind. There must be a firm starting point established. This point or firmament is faith, moving on the unformed capacities of spirit consciousness. And this water that is here on the altar represents the healing and restoring source, God. God is the source. Next, we add myrrh oil. Metaphysically, myrrh represents the eternity of spirit, an emblem of the resurrection, and anointment of love. And as today's theme is love, Love is a divine attribute. God is love, and love is God. Divine love is broad and unlimited, and universal and harmonizing power. I place this heart on the altar. The heart is the lotus of physical and spiritual being and represents the central wisdom and feeling as opposed to the head wisdom of reason. It is compassion and understanding, life-giving and complex. It is a symbol for love. Let us pray. Father, Mother God, we feel the power of divine love at work in us, preparing the way for the expression of our Christ selves. You are love, and we are love in expression. Love expresses in our homes as patience, as order, and as loving discipline. Love expresses in our world as peace, harmony, and spiritual love. For all these expressions, we do give thanks and praise.
And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. I feel like after Michael Wright's beautiful meditation and Reverend Michael's invocation of Advent in that song, I don't need to say anything else. They've said it all. And yet I will talk. I want to start this morning by reading today's daily word. The word is love, and it says, "Love lights my way." In this Advent season, as I prepare my heart for the rebirth of my inner Christ child, I take a moment to connect with the spirit of love within. Sometimes this season may seem to be about presents, food, and celebrations, but it is really about love. Love is the power upon which the whole world revolves. Especially at this busy time of year, I want to stay attuned to the love of the Christ within. Through this reciprocal power, the love I give returns to me abundantly. Love transcends all, transforming any perceived negativity into a blessing. I express love in all my words and actions. I may give a plate of homemade food or send a heartfelt note of appreciation. Whatever I do, I let the love in my heart be my guide. And from Mark 12:31, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater. Love. This whole season, we look to love. Love is one of our 12 powers, one of those gifts innately given to us. And love, as evidenced just from this brief reading of the daily word, shows up in many, many forms. What are, for you, some of the ways that you express love or that you see love expressed between people? Hugs, that physical touch, absolutely. What else? Smiles. Nurturing, taking care of someone. What else? Gifts, I heard, and what was this one over here? Opening the door, simple acts of kindness. Anything else? Was that? Pets. Yes. All of these ways of expressing love are still love. Simple, small, or grand, it's all love. Many of you I know are familiar with the 1992 book, The 5 Love Languages. Who here is familiar with that book? It's about the number of hands I expected. Perfect. So the book by Gary Chapman talks about 5 different ways of expressing love, and the premise of the book is that each person has one primary way and then another secondary way out of these 5, but all 5 can reach to people. So there are things like words of affirmation, simply saying I love you, or even saying, wow, you look great today. By the way, you all look great today. Thank you. You look marvelous. But those words of affirmation, for some people, that goes right to their heart. And people often give the way that they want to receive. So maybe you think it's an empty compliment when somebody is giving you something, but that may be them showing their love. Accept it as love. Quality time is another. Just spending time together with people that is meaningful or fun. Things that help you bond. Acts of service, even as simple as opening a door. Right? Any act of service can be a show of love. Physical touch, the hugging, all of that, which I know in this last year and a half, for the people that crave that as part of their main love language, this has been very difficult, right? And giving gifts, of course. This time of year, gift giving is front and center. We think of gift giving as a very Christian, Christmas-oriented tradition this time of year, but really the tradition of giving gifts at this time of year goes back thousands of years and well before Christianity. Ancient Romans, during this month, celebrated Saturnalia, and on the 19th of December, they would exchange gifts with each other. We are very familiar with Hanukkah. Michael did a lovely recognition of Hanukkah completing its 8-day festival last week. And Hanukkah is associated with gift giving, 8 days of light and gift giving. There's a celebration in Hinduism. It's called Panchaganapti, and it is December 21st through the 25th. It honors Lord Ganesha, and it involves cards and feasts and, yes, gifts. Gift giving this time of year has been ongoing for millennia. And in Christianity, that association with gift giving is, of course, because of the Magi, the wise men, the 3 kings. I want to read from Matthew chapter 2 very briefly. This was when the kings had met with King Herod. And it says, after they heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And Michael has touched on some of the metaphysical meanings of those things, but I want to go back to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and dig just a hair deeper on those three gifts. Gold is the most universally traded of all of those metals around the world. It represents the fact that we all have riches. We have riches that the God mind in us has given us. We have this possession over this universal ether, that substance of the universe. And it is consciousness in omnipresent richness of infinite substance. In following the path of Jesus, our indwelling Christ must change our thoughts from the mundane to the wise and rich and divine. Frankincense is one of the richest perfumes. That sense of smell, of air, of wind, of smoke, it's all closely associated with the spiritual essence. And frankincense represents the transmutation of things from material to spiritual. We are raising every cell in our body, every part of the world to a higher consciousness. Myrrh, the one that we were a little more focused on this week, as Michael finished with, does indeed represent the power of love. Daily, we have to give love into that indwelling Christ child. It lives upon love. As Jesus said, love your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. You love God, you love your neighbor. Love the divine, love the world made manifest. We have this polarity. I spoke about polarities last time I was speaking because I'd been taking a class on polarities, which is now finished, but I now see polarities everywhere. And this is indeed one. We often think of God as divine and humankind as mundane, and the reality is it's not an either or, it's a both and. God becomes manifest in the world, and we are that divinity becoming manifest. So we're finding that balance between the divine and the worldly. Speaking of that, Richard Rohr is an author and theologian. Again, I'm sure many people are familiar with him. I've been reading his book, The Universal Christ, and there's a chapter in that book called Love is the Meaning. In that chapter, he starts off talking about Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, my high school French is coming back, who lived in the late 19th, early 20th century. He was a French Jesuit priest. He also trained as a paleontologist and geologist. And to him, love is the very physical structure of the universe. Gravity, atomic bonding, orbits, cycles, photosynthesis, ecosystems, force fields, electromagnetic fields, sexuality, human friendship, animal instinct, and evolution all reveal an energy that is attracting all things and all beings to one another. When I read this, I was both elated and disappointed. I've thought this for years. And there's that beautiful sense of, yes, somebody else sees something that I see, and the disappointment in the ego that, oh, I'm not original. So, but I have held to this personally for years, that love, gravity, attraction, all of that, it's all the same thing. and God is love. It's all God in there. And the thing is, it's leading us to this sense of, with the evolution and all that, to this greater complexity and all of these inner workings. And yet, ironically, in opposition to the complexity, it's leading us to greater unity as well. It's energy that is love in many different forms and many different names, like we talked about at the beginning. Love shows up in so many ways. Rohr goes on to point out that there is not a native or Hindu or Buddhist or Jewish or Islamic or Christian way of loving. It is all just loving. He also says that there is not a Methodist or Lutheran or Orthodox way of running a soup kitchen. You run the soup kitchen. There's not a gay or straight way of being faithful or a black or Caucasian way of hoping. We all know positive flow when we feel it. Everything else is just a label. Now, being in love with someone, falling in love, is in itself a little bit of a paradox. It involves making a very clear decision. But it's not really a decision that is a matter of mind or will. It's a flow of energy. Hence that sense of falling in love. You're allowing this flow of energy. And you do have to allow it and exchange that flow without requiring anything in return. Divine love is the template for that. If you've never experienced human love, it is very difficult to imagine or to feel the divine love that is present, even though we know it is there. And if you have never openly let God love you deeply, you will have a hard time readily knowing how to love and how to feel love from another human being to that deepest level possible. Richard Rohr posits that in the world, or at least in the United States, rather than focusing on divine love, we don't focus on that waking up to what is real. We focus on winning. We want to win. It's all a competition. And then once we feel that we have won on some level, it becomes about, now what can I consume? This year has made that a little more evident to me. We had a disrupted supply chain, right? We still have container ships off the coast waiting to come in, and things will be months late in getting here for the holidays. And there are people who early on were lamenting that, oh, Christmas is going to be ruined because these things aren't making it to us. And if that has ruined Christmas for you, first of all, I'm sorry. I am. But I would also challenge to say that you don't understand Christmas. That cannot ruin Christmas. It's not about the things. It's about finding what feeds our soul or provides meaning or provides encouragement or simply engenders love or a sense of community. I'm going to offer a brief affirmation. So if it feels right to you, I would like for you to repeat this after me. I am the light of love. I shine my light in the dark places where it is needed. And the Christ light within me illumines the world. I want to try that again. You've heard the words. Get it out of your head and get it into your heart. I am the light of love. I shine my light in the dark places where it is needed. and the Christ light within me illumines the world. Yeah. Love. Love is our guiding star. Richard Rohr refers in that chapter in his book, Universal Christ, refers to our North Star, love being our North Star. But during this season, I felt the term guiding star a little more appropriate. And that love can start as any form of love. Maybe you love playing golf. Great. Maybe you love having a clean house. Awesome. Maybe you love art or music or your cat. It doesn't matter. It's love. God will use anything to get that flow of love started. Because God is not in competition with the world. God is in cooperation with the world. And it is that flow of love, however it starts, that is important. I found it interesting what A Course in Miracles had to say about Christmas. There's a lot of wisdom in A Course in Miracles. And the Course says, the sign of Christmas is a star, a light in darkness. See it not outside yourself, but shining in the heaven within, and accept it as the sign the time of Christ has come. The time of Christ has come. As I get close to closing out, I want to read a short quote, and then Michael will sing a song, and I'll have another brief poem in there. But this is a quote by L.R. Knost. Many of you have heard it before, but it says, "Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you."
Let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me. Let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me. Let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me. I don't want darkness, I don't want fear. I want to shine my light for all the world to see. We journey onward, now and here. It's the light of love that sets us free. So let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me. Let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me.
This is the poem, Blessed Are You Who Bear the Light, by Jan Richardson. Blessed are you who bear the light in unbearable times, who testify to its endurance amid the unendurable, who bear witness to its persistence when everything seems in shadow, in grief. Blessed are you in whom the light lives, in whom the brightness blazes, your heart a chapel, an altar, where in the deepest night can be seen the fire that shines forth in you, in unaccountable faith, in stubborn hope, in love that illumines every broken thing it finds.
Let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me.
Join in singing.
Let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me. Let this lamp light the way. There's so much we cannot see. Let this lamp light the way, and let the light come from me, and let the light come from me.
You are the light of love, and you shine your light in the dark places where it is needed. And the Christ light within you illumines the world. So it is. Namaste.